Boxing, teach boxing.
9-time, am I right? 9-time world champion.
Let's go.
Yo, what's up, though, fellas? How y'all doing?
Okay, now.
All right,
good.
K9.
Hey, welcome to a special edition of Boxing and Business. So, yeah, we got two great guests. We got my cousin, Fortune. That's right, really Fortune. And we got my young dog. Well, maybe my older dog, John Lepak.
Yeah,
now, John Lepak is, I believe, the vice president of KRONK. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm right. And we got Fortune is the owner of Jab's Gym. So yeah, what's happening, y'all? What's going on?
What's going on?
I'm good, man. I'm good. We gonna definitely talk about the business, behind boxing, because I know y'all got a story to tell and how y'all got in the gym, was in the gym, fought, and then afterwards became successful after boxing. But Devin Haney, what y'all think about Devin Haney?
Man, it was a great boxing performance.
I would agree with Fortune on that one. And he stuck back to what we all know from Emmanuel's teachings, and that's the basics. Far too many times today, people get caught up in the flashy, pad work and all the flashy combinations, but he stuck on that stick and he had that jab working all night long, and that got him home.
Yes, that's right. You agree, Fortune? The jab?
Yeah, definitely. That's the number one thing. At every gym that got a great teacher, the first thing they teach us is that dang on jab.
That's true. That's true.
That's why I named the gym Jabs. It was the most important thing.
Bob, that's right. Now, did y'all know? Go ahead. You about to say something?
Fortune had a great point though. He said the word teacher, and that's real boxing talk, and that's how you know he's. We know he's a real boxing guy, but that's how you know you're talking to a real boxing guy in Fortune, because when he said a teacher in the gym, and far too many times today we've got guys that throw a towel over their shoulder and they think they're a trainer. And what happens as a trainer, as we know, the fighter's life is in your hands. You can lose your life in the ring. So I really can appreciate what Fortune said as far as having a teacher in the gym. Yes.
So Jabs is jabbing, right? And that's the gym that you own. So I bet you
founded it almost basically 10 years ago.
Okay.
We just been keeping the ball rolling, but it's just it's the bonus because while fighting, I had already studied and was a certified ACE trainer, so I would do training part-time, and that way I didn't have to work like a 40-50 hour a week job, and I had time to really perfect my technique and work on those different things. So that's how we just did all those things, and like you said, just doing like Devin did, and learning the basics of it.
That's right. So you learned the basics not only in boxing, but even the basics in the business world.
Yeah, they go hand in hand. I tell people all the time, boxing and life go hand. So
you're making life champions.
That's it. Make life champions.
Okay. I bet y'all didn't know that Devin Haney actually trained at the original KRONK gym. Did y'all know that?
Yeah, I knew that.
I did not know that.
Yeah, John,
I knew him from Vegas. I knew his dad from Vegas back in the days with Mike, but I didn't know that.
Yeah, I had him on my podcast.
Wow.
And I asked him a few questions. We talked, and then he said, K9, you might not even remember me, but I trained with you at the original KRONK gym. It's like, you did? It's like, yeah. So,
because
I didn't remember because that was
little
so
dude. He was a little dude. That's all. He's one of the kids,
Yeah. So what you doing at KRONK, John? You done came back to trying to revamp it, or what's the deal?
Well, I swore I would never, ever, ever return to the world of boxing, but this proves the true never say never. So a good friend of mine, a former two-term commissioner, Jeff Stiers, he had a youth development program in Wayne Westland. It was called Norwayne Boxing, where Erskine Wade headed up the program. And it's a great program. It's youth development where kids come in after school. They meet with a guidance counselor. We have a homework learning center with tutors. And we have like a kitchen where they can learn how to cook. We have a laundry center. They learn how to do laundry. So it's really like how Fortune was saying, you know, the things you learn through boxing are life skills. And then the Stewart family had some issues at the KRONK gym that they had at the time. So they had met with several people, and they got a lot of really aggressive financial offers to merge with some other people. But at the end of the day, they liked what Jeff had put together for the program for the kids, to make sure it wasn't necessarily, you know, all about just a boxing team. It was being able to get kids into trade school, get them into college, or get them jobs. So they had approached me and made me an offer to return and become the business manager. And, you know, really where we're at now is it's great. We have a tremendous history and a legacy, as everyone knows, with the KRONK name. But we're starting over really. We're not involved in the pro business at this point in time. You know, in the near future, perhaps we will. We've had some discussions, but right now it's just about building up a nice, solid amateur team. And, you know, I'm having fun. I mean, I'm more on the business side, you know, doing deals for the KRONK brand, but it's nice to see, you know, little kids get back out there and, you know, fight for the love of the sport.
Yeah. And Emmanuel was big on kids. You know, he always took care of them kids. You know, that's really what was Emmanuel about. He was about them kids. Like he'd go and train Lennox Lewis, train Klitschko, but then go right back down to that hot, very hot gym in a neighborhood. I'm talking about the hood. Yeah, that was big. So yeah,
absolutely.
That was a testament to the kind of guy he is and the kind of guy he was. And rest in peace to Emmanuel Stewart. Now, Fortune, you know, you have not only, you know, fighters that's actually in the gym working with you, they're actually training. Real fighters are actually training, unlike, you know, gyms like Title. Well, you know, Title, they have, you know, just fitness trainers that try to do boxing training. You actually get like real champions, world champion trainers like Greg Coverson, the Candy Man who actually fought Hector Camacho. Tell us a little bit about, you know, what you're doing and who you got working for you and working with you,
Well,
along with your cousin.
the main thing that I seen was the void in what people consider boxing fitness. So my main thing was just to create another avenue where, like myself, like while fighting regularly, I was part-time training, and it allowed me to free up time so that I could really dedicate to the craft. I didn't have to work 40 hours or plus overtime and things like that. So the personal training thing was one thing. The second thing was the actual community that comes into it. Like a lot of our boxing gyms are missing the community because there's only fighters in there. And when you talk about Tommy Hearns and, you know, Greg Coverson and, you know, Aaron Pryor, Sugar Ray Leonard, the whole thing, they worked out in places where the community worked out. So you also get to see the development of a fighter. And that right there is an investment, because if I'm just a regular person working a job, but I get to interact with K9 Bundridge and, you know, and you say, hey, man, I'm about to fight. You know, hey, I got a fight coming up. I want to see, because I've seen you work in the gym. I've seen the grit. I've seen the time that you invested. And that builds fan base, friends, and resources. And that's what's missing in boxing. You know, it's hard to pay bills just basing it off of just a youth program where kids don't work and things like that. Like, we all want to get in shape, and you got to do it in a fun manner. So that's what I wanted to capitalize on. Basically, I didn't reinvent the wheel. I just touched base on what originally worked. So just like the boxing techniques, the basics of boxing, what you see now, like Devin used, is superior right now. because you got all these guys doing all this flashy stuff, and they are losing with simple stuff like a jab.
Talk to me. That's right. That's right.
So, you know, that's the same thing that we doing. And, you know, I hope that we, you know, I want to collaborate with KRONK and things like that. And I want to really build this up, because there's no way that I feel like corporation people should be able to come in and take over the field that we have.
That's
Anytime you see Hollywood and stuff like that, where actors get in shape, they go to real boxing gyms. They don't go to these franchises. They don't go, they go. And also boxing is empowering. So I feel like you should teach people the right way to do it, whether they want to fight or not, because you actually, you know, it's almost like having a CCW. It's empowering. You feel a certain way, but you got to know how to use it.
That's right. That's right. Guns blazing. That's right.
So
That's right.
I want people to know how to defend themselves, or at least protect themselves from getting hurt in the same sense.
That's right.
So we targeting all of those things: fitness, anger management, you know, stress, anti-bullying. Like boxing is medicine for so many different things.
That's true.
So, you know, so to be a personal trainer and an actual boxing, I call myself a teacher trainer when it comes to boxing, because like I told him, I just like teaching it. I like explaining it, and it constantly builds for the sport of boxing. The more they understand boxing, the more they love it.
Yeah, yeah. So John, you used to box too. They just think you just, you know, on the business side of it, you actually came in the gym, you know what I'm saying, little skinny, little frail kid back in the day. You know what I'm saying? You put the gloves on, right?
Yeah. I grew up not far from the gym as a little kid, and used to come around the gym and, you know, poke my head in the door. And then, you know, it takes, I commend anyone who goes into a real boxing gym. It takes courage just to walk through that door, as we all know, you know, training at the original gym down on the west side. And I did some training, you know, and I had one pro fight, one and done, which I thank Emmanuel for encouraging me to do that. But, you know, as I always say, I wasn't 1% of what you two gentlemen were, you know, in the ring. I could move, as Walt would say. We could make $1 million watching me shadow box, but, you know, to translate that into, you know, the skills to pay the bills, as we say, you know, I was more qualified to carry your gentlemen's gym bags than get in the ring with you guys.
No, so you was the first Jake Paul.
What's that?
You was the first Jake Paul.
Hey, give me some of that Jake Paul money. I won't be mad.
I won't be mad neither.
Yeah.
Hey, Fortune. So what do you feel, Fortune? You're a real boxing guy, K9 as well. What do you guys think about, you know, the Paul brothers and in their involvement in the sport today? It seems to be very controversial. What do you guys think?
I mean, it's definitely controversial, as far as, you know, it's a black eye to people who put their lives on the line for years and never make a third of what these guys are gonna make. But it also is like an awareness to open up eyes that we didn't understand at certain points, that boxing is a business.
Yes, absolutely.
So just like Ken I said earlier, boxing and business, like you can't have one without the other.
That's right.
And a lot of the fighters, you know, a lot of great fighters, like we know guys that people never even heard of, that would destroy people that were world champions.
That's true. That's true.
You know, and that just shows you that you gotta balance the two. So even myself, like I started boxing late. Like I didn't even, I was raised around it by our family being in it, but I didn't decide I really wanted to box till I was like 22, almost 23.
Wow.
And I accomplished so many different things, not because I was more determined or better than other people, but I understood as a man what it took. So I knew how to, you know, look at contracts and understand all these basic things that are so important, because you don't even have to be the greatest fighter in the world to other people. You just gotta have the right team. So just like you said, even if you was carrying my gym bag, hey, you a part of that team. Your role is important.
Yeah.
You know, when people get married, you got a person who is the ring bearer. That's an
Yes.
important role.
Yes.
You know, it's more important than what people think. And Jake Paul and them just opened the eyes to a lot of people that there is a worth. Now, I do love the fact that they are smart enough business people to add to the sport. Him blessing certain fighters with paydays that they never would have got. That makes us respect you more. So, you know, I might not think he's the best fighter ever, but if Jake Paul came to me with a contract, I might sign that contract before I sign with some of these other guys, because at least I know I'm gonna make some money.
Business. It's business. Look, Amanda Serrano would never have made $1 million if she didn't sign with Jake Paul. Let me rewind that. She would never have made $1 million if she didn't sign with Jake Paul.
I agree.
Yeah.
You know, I have a a take similar to what Fortune was saying. And I think on one hand, I do respect the fact that, he is taking his training serious. You know, he doesn't clown around like he's a YouTube, funny guy. When he's in the gym, he trains hard. And, I think that, people are coming down a little too hard on him, in the boxing world. When are you going to fight a real fighter? Well, who did Canelo fight in his first 10 fights? I mean, who did any of us fight in our first 5 or 7 fights? Really? We were fighting guys back in our day from Ashtabula, Ohio, and coming in on the B side. So it'll be interesting to see what he does. But on the business side, like Fortune said, and K9, you just said, he's giving people opportunities that never would have had those opportunities. And that's one thing that Kady and I wish he was on the call. Every time we would sit down to plan a fight card, Kady would always say, okay, who are we going to put on the undercard? We got to look out for so-and-so. We got to look out for Amari Paul. We got, we would go down a list of names of our friends because we had the financial backing, and we made sure that those guys got an opportunity, at least in some way, shape, or form, to be on the undercards, and we were putting them together.
Absolutely.
So run that back in the day.
Yeah. I don't know if Two Live Crew said it, but he said, use what you got to get what you want. And that's what you got to do. You know what I mean? You got to use what you got to get what you want. And look, Jake Paul is doing what Mayweather did. When Mayweather was Pretty Boy Floyd, it wasn't about the business. It was about the boxing. But when he became Money Mayweather, he started picking and choosing. That's all Jake Paul is doing. He's picking and choosing.
I mean, it's picking and choosing to an extent, but it's just it's making the right business decisions.
Absolutely.
Like, people don't understand the power in boxing is we are small businesses.
Yep.
And we partner up with a big business in order to get paid.
Yeah.
So as a business, every deal ain't the right deal. So when you're in a position to be able to make decisions, then that's what you do. You make decisions that's best for you and your team.
Yeah.
And like I said, I take my hat off to Floyd and them. But we also teach, like I teach a lot of my fighters about that business thing. Like,
somebody disappeared. He got KO. He got hit with that jab. He got hit with the jab. He'll be back. He'll be back.
But Fortune is, he's very well schooled. And it's great for me, from our era, K9, to sit back and see guys like you and Fortune and some of the other guys. Tarek was just in the gym the other day speaking to the kids, to see that they've carried that success over. And, I see what you're doing all the time. It's amazing. I look at videos of your son. I'm like, oh my God. I mean, I remember when you were that age, And K9, I'd like to ask you personally. You were a late bloomer, so to speak, and really came on late in your career. What was the difference for you, do you think, from starting out at maybe the earlier stages to what you had learned towards the later stages when you achieved success?
You know what? Just being around, a lot of hungry fighters You got to remember, fighters wasn't getting paid what they're getting paid now. So, you know, fighters were in the gym working real hard, working super hard to achieve, you know, a paycheck, to get in the ring and fight. So I was around great fighters, you know, Tommy Hearns, Marlon Thomas, Kady King, everybody I was around could fight. You would see some of the greatest gym wars that you ever see. I'm talking about these guys were sparring like these guys fight, but way better than a pay-per-view fight. So that right there, determination, that grit, that hunger made me want it. And I wanted, it was competition down there, like who is the best? And I wanted to be the best. And, you know, and when my time came, I took full advantage of it. And my persistence is what helped me. I never, ever gave up. I stayed committed. I worked out. You know, I would fall off here and there, you know, but I would always go run. I would always go train, and I just wanted it. I wanted it, and I wanted to prove myself. Everybody was trying to prove to Emmanuel Stewart they was the next one up, you know. It's kind of like when you go to Mayweather's gym. When Mayweather in town, he come to jump, everybody jump roping. Jump roping and hitting the bag and trying to impress Mayweather because they could be next up. So when Emmanuel Stewart came from training camp with Klitschko or Lennox Lewis, you know, man, we was working because we know somebody could be next up, somebody can get a check, somebody can go to training camp and spar with Klitschko and make good money, you know what I mean? So, you know, it was just, I think one thing I think too though is that with Emmanuel Stewart not being here, you know, people have went separate ways. And like Fortune was saying, it's like we need to come back together and do some business together, you know, give back to the kids or something together. You know, that's what I believe is missing now. Everybody just done branched off. You know, we over here at Jabs. You know, Krunks is over here at Krunks. World Best is over at World Best, and you know, and whoever else is wherever else they are. And we need to get back to uniting with each other. You know, and I think that man, because Michigan, we got the greatest fighters in the world. Come on, Sugar Ray Robinson. We got, you know, James Toney, Tommy Hearns, Joe Lewis. We can go on and on and on. You know what I mean? And even if they wasn't from here, they came here to train, to box, because they knew if they came down to KRONK gym or train with Emmanuel, guess what? They got a good chance of getting their title back. So you got guys from Fortune that had to go, didn't want to go to this gym, that gym, because all the work was down at KRONK's and the money was down at KRONK's, and you know what I mean? So, you know, it's not there anymore, you know, so everybody had to branch out and do their own things. And I'm very happy and proud of what you are doing, John. I'm proud of what Fortune is doing. Because, you know, nobody thought that they could do it without Emmanuel and was forced to do it without Emmanuel, you know. But Emmanuel Stewart's legacy is continuing to live on. And everybody is doing the best they can. But Michigan as fighters fell off. Fell off. Ohio,
I'd like to say this, if I may.
Go ahead.
No, I'd like to say this, if I may, to Fortune's point and to your point, K9, about working together. Our first event we're going to do as a gym and as a company again is going to be August the 6th, and we're titling it Emmanuel Stewart's Birthday Bash in honor of Emmanuel's birthday, July 7th. And we're going to look to make about 4 events annually every year, where they'll kind of be like, you know, the bigger, like, you know, back in the day when you fought at the Palace, that was kind of, you know, the big stage. So we're going to try to duplicate that. And what I would love to have is guys like K9, you know, whoever's on your amateur squad, Fortune squad, Super Bad, if Jimmy Paul's got a couple guys, and kind of make it a KRONK reunion. And shout out to James Lester Jr. I stopped by, or he stopped by. We saw each other a little while ago, and he's going to be taking over. I don't know if it's Coleman Young, forgive me, but I know he's probably going to be taking over. Program really soon. That's where he was at. He was nice there. To see all of us. Coming. So we have to come together, and I'll say this, and I'll leave it on this note. Communication is key. You know, there's no room for hating or, you know, being jealous of what somebody else is doing. You know, we all need to work together, you know, out here and do it for the kids.
That's right. And so that's why I take my hat off to, you know, Fortune. Fortune was ahead of the game. Like when I was the current world champ, I'm thinking, okay, you know, I'm gonna fight whatever. I'm gonna make this money. But you know, you lose the title, that same money that you was getting, you ain't getting no more. So now it's life after boxing. So what do you do, you know, after boxing? So Fortune sat down with Showtime, and Showtime told Fortune, look, we're going to give you this. And Fortune said, what? Hold on. I can make that training people.
Yeah.
So they didn't like the fact that he was very intelligent, ahead of the game. So, you know, I'm happy
No,
to be little cuz or big cuz
yeah.
to learn the business outside boxing. I know I can look at a contract, but to know that it's big business and training people, I mean, think about it. Everybody and their mama is doing boxing training. Remember my
Yep.
man from Taibo? He been
Yep.
killing the game.
Billy Blanks. Yeah.
Billy
Wow.
Blanks. Billy Blanks. Yeah. So
I know if Billy watching this, he better watch. I'm coming for his spot.
Hey, but
that's
you know,
right.
Fortune did some sweet stuff though, you know, and I'm not just saying it because he's on the line. I've watched him grow, you know, from the time he came into
Oh,
Birmingham,
man.
and you know,
Hey,
uh-oh,
y'all know this guy right
uh-oh.
here? Uh-oh.
Yeah, I
He
think
got it
that looks
together.
like my
Let the
grandfather.
king.
That's
Is
the
that my
king.
grandfather?
What up, baby? What
What's
y'all
up,
doing,
brother?
fellas?
What's happening
I'm
with you?
just listening to all this wisdom. I'm enjoying it.
Oh, my man's
What
in
did I
there.
tell you guys? As soon as he gets on, he'll move his mouth right up to the voice.
Those are
That's
my reading glasses. Hold on. Let me do something.
Kady used to kissing women, so he
Look,
like.
that is
Wait,
not no
I'm
blunt.
gonna put these earplugs in my ear so I can
Yeah.
really hear
But what I
y'all.
was saying about Fortune though was he was really ahead of the time, K9, and I'm not just
Yeah.
saying that because
Yeah.
Fortune's with us on the call here, but
Okay.
Fortune put in things like yoga, and he
Yeah.
had boxing classes where you had
Yeah.
lawyers and stockbrokers and
Yeah.
soccer moms coming in, but then he had the amateur kids training, he had pros training.
There you
Fortune
go.
was the first one that I had seen really encompass all that under the same roof, so he really
Look
was
at
a
him, y'all.
trailblazer in many ways.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
right.
my biggest thing was because, like you said, though, a while back, though, like people are scared to come to like the real boxing gyms.
Yeah.
So
That's true.
like
That's
we
true.
gotta break that narrative. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
you don't have to come in here and get punched in the face.
No.
Like you don't have to, and people need to understand that the whole thing is whether I want to teach you this.
Yeah.
It's gonna add value to your life,
That's right.
and that's it. We had
And
a lot of celebrities looking
yeah.
crazy
Yeah.
with people claiming to know they knew boxing.
Yeah.
You seen videos, and it was like, what is this? And
And
to
that's the
me, I
reason why.
felt like it was an insult. So I was like, man, like I need to change. I need to do something. Like I couldn't sit
And
watch.
that's the reason why, unfortunately, that's the reason why that the Contender was so good for boxing, because they were able to see that people are not just fighters. Like, we are really good guys outside the ring. We got families. They think you just a fighter and that's it. So people will walk up to me, K9, because they say, oh, this guy's, really a nice guy. He's not just a fighter. This is business.
Well, it's not like that anymore, fellas. Listen, we were all heroes.
Yeah.
It's not like that anymore. We were all heroes, really. No matter where we came from, once we got in the sport of boxing, we became heroes.
Yeah.
Come on, all of us, man. We became heroes. All of us. Willie, John, K9, we became heroes in boxing.
Yeah.
It's not like that. If you ain't a thug today or a street dude in boxing, you're not really a boxer, I guess. I watch all these fighters today, man. Let me tell you what, I'll be really devastated and really hurt my feelings. Even coming from some of our own back home, man. I hate to see men do them face all the disrespect, call them the bitches and shit. I never understood that, man.
Yeah.
I recall John, we was getting $15,000, $12,000 fights. We had so much respect for that guy because we get paid.
Yeah.
We don't get no money. Anything go wrong, we don't get no money. If he back out a fighter. So them guys call each other bitches and hoes and talk on each other and rage. I don't like the sport no more, man.
Yeah.
It's too much.
Kady,
It's like it's proving that you're tougher than what you really are. It has nothing to do with boxing. Words don't make you tough.
Go ahead. That was funny.
Words don't make you tough. All that cussing and shit.
Yeah. That was funny when Javante Davis.
I'm gonna share a story with you guys.
No,
Mike Tyson told me. He said when Henry Armstrong approached Sugar Ray Robinson, and he said, Ray, I need the payday. I need to fight you. And Sugar Ray said, I don't want to fight you. You're my hero. And he's an old man at that point. He said, yeah, but if you love me and I am your hero, then you'll fight me because I need this payday. So that kind of elaborates what Kady's speaking on, is when that man across the ring from you that you're fighting, you know, I don't like these guys showing that much disrespect and trash talk and all that social media hype, because that man's helping you put food on the table for your family.
Yeah,
exactly.
So
my kids got $300 bike.
What do you feel about Larry Holmes then? Larry Holmes doing that to Muhammad Ali then?
It was boxing.
Yeah, Larry didn't trash talk.
It wasn't nothing personal. He cried after that fight.
Yeah,
Larry Holmes was hurt after that fight, man. That was the most painful victory he's ever had.
Yeah. Well, Mike Tyson.
Yeah, he didn't like that, but it was something he had to do. Hey, listen, how would you feel if I fought Tommy? We all gonna be crying after I fight Tommy, because he's gonna knock my ass out too.
I don't know. If
Kady, they made fun of me. They made fun of me, Kady, when I cried at the Palace at ringside when Rashid Lee beat you. I cried like a baby that night. Remember?
John did too. Look.
Hey, Rashid is at jail.
Hey, let me tell you something.
You want that
rematch?
I'm
gonna keep it honest with y'all about that fight. That was probably one of my most learning experiences ever in my life. That was the best. Let me tell you, John stayed on my ass that fight. He kept on saying, man, listen, don't underestimate Rashid. I'm going to tell you why I knew better, because I used to work with him. I damn near taught him how to fight. So I knew he had heart. I knew what he could do. But I knew my intimidation was enough to like really talk him out. He wasn't going to show up fight Kady. Shit. Man, please. That was a Rashid I will always love, man. That was 10 rounds of hell with that boy. And I never regret it, man. It was a good loss. A loss I deserved to take.
He rose to the occasion. That's all.
Yep, I mean, he sure did.
I get what y'all saying too.
And let me tell you what else he did. He showed Rick Griffin. See, a lot of people underestimated Rick Griffin as a trainer. I always thought he was a good trainer. Always, man. Let me tell you, when you make a fighter nothing something, man, you a great trainer, man. You a good trainer. Rashid couldn't beat me. That was Rick Griffin that beat me, man. He just used Rashid's body and mind. I kid you not.
I think Devin Haney, dad being able to come overseas is the real reason why Devin Haney was able to rise to occasion.
I mean, he did a big prize. It's a motivational tool.
Yeah. You know, out of all them guys, who's the best two? Out of all those lightweights now?
Javante Davis.
What do you think?
I think I definitely think my own opinion is I feel like Tank and I think Lomo. I think Lomo's only issue is Lomachenko.
I gotta say Lopez, Willie.
You think Lopez? I mean,
he beat Lomo.
Lopez got I feel like he got a lot of the qualities, but when you go to that ring IQ, like I feel like Lomachenko lost because he been.
I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that.
People, so he don't turn it off like that. You know, like a great trainer.
He got more pit. He got more pit than German Shepherd.
Right.
Yeah. He do. He go right at you. Yeah, he do.
And then
you know that K9. Yeah, that Lamo. Yeah, he don't think. He go right at you. Yeah, he do.
Yeah.
That's how he got beat by George.
What about Shakur Stevenson?
He's smart.
Shakur Stevenson. Y'all can't forget about him.
You can't sleep on Stevenson.
Hey, you know who's the smartest out of all those lightweights though?
Who?
Who got real good ring IQ?
Who?
Davis. Bad man. He
number one.
That cat really anticipates knocking you out at the bell.
Yeah,
he is so serious about it. He ain't playing.
The will to win. Devin Haney has the will to win more than all of them. He been around Floyd all his life. And
Devin Haney, listen. David Haney to me ain't nothing but a step above Ryan Garcia.
Yeah. But his will to win.
He don't really. When it comes to being mean, like what it really takes, I don't see that in him.
He got all the belts.
I don't see that in him. I don't see him on a Lomachenko level or a Lopez level or a Davis level. I don't see Haney like that.
I mean,
I don't see him worthy of that. I think they picked the right fight with him beating George the other day.
Yeah.
You know, Matthew Stewart's smart. He would have said that was a smart fight for him. But as far as them other lightweights, I don't know, man. Vicious boys.
Hey, Styles may fight. I think the only one.
Are they gonna do? Are they going to do what
Who?
Tommy and Ray and Hagler, Duran, Benitez, are they going to do what De La Hoya, Trinidad, Corte, Fernando Vargas, are they going to fight each other?
No.
That's the thing.
No.
Everybody's
Unfortunately,
trash
no.
talking like Kady said.
Well, you know what? No, we can't complain because they've been stepping up lately. We've been getting good fights every weekend now, fellas.
We
This
are
year,
getting good fights,
But not
but
at
it's still a
135.
business.
Not at
we've
135.
been getting good fights. Listen, and they've been coming fast too. Who predicted Canelo? We didn't think that was gonna happen, so we've been getting worthy fights, man. It's just, hey, shit, people showing up.
That's true. That's true, but not
People
at
showing
135.
up, man. That light heavyweight beat Canelo, that blew my mind.
Oh,
I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
wow, man, wow. I mean, he really beat him precisely. Well, no doubt, he beat him up. I was like, damn.
Yeah.
Hey.
But didn't Canelo pull the same thing Roy did? You can't keep going up and down in weight classes.
No, that's true.
Yep, that's true. You can't keep doing that. You can't. But what makes you think he can compete at light heavy anyway?
I don't know. Hey, they scared of him for some reason. Maybe
yeah,
it's the
what
red
makes him think that, K9? Why would he think he competed light heavy?
He did it before. You remember he won a world title at 175.
Yeah, he did it.
Okay, we talk about a motherfucker been in like wars, too many wars. That light heavyweight was on his way out. He was like, come on, he was on his way out anyway. So that was a well-picked one. This karate guy that looked like Bruce Lee wasn't smart.
Yeah. Hey,
that wasn't smart to pick him.
The top pickers, the top boxing matchmakers are Jake Paul, Canelo Alvarez, and Devin Haney. Devin Haney picked the right fight.
Who picks Canelo fight?
Man,
Canelo. I mean, I think it's his trainer. Reynolds.
But it's just smart business though. Canelo been in the game.
John, so listen, what y'all telling me is that Canelo picked that light heavyweight to fight.
Yeah, they thought he was the safest bet.
Yeah, he ain't got no power. He don't have no power. Really he can box, but he ain't got no power. Because at 175, he was supposed to knock
I was beat by a whole lot of fighters that didn't have no power. They kicked my ass for real. So I hope that ain't what he was banking on. Really, that ain't what Canelo was banking on, was it?
Hey, but look, if they beat you, listen, you can still talk clear. We understand everything you saying. Your brains ain't beat in, so they didn't have power like that.
Wow, man.
I mean, the whole thing is, though, you know what I mean? It's respect regardless. Yeah. And those are the things that make boxing, though. Every component matters.
Well,
like Devin, I feel like Devin is a very poised boxer. Yeah, like Kady said, we're going to have to see him under the heat, though. He gonna have to
I got to. Yeah, you got to see that.
And he will have to fight somebody that he gonna have to like bear down, and he gonna have to give it to him.
Yeah.
And that's gonna tell all tale because, you know, I compared it. I told people this, like from watching that fight, I told them the same thing. That was the same thing we seen with Tony versus DiCarlo. I said, but Tony got a whole lot of snap on that jab.
Yeah,
Devin got a good jab.
Listen. I'm gonna get this off my chest. While all of us from Detroit are listening. Now I know a lot of y'all got doubts, and y'all might not like what I'm about to say, but listen, man. Tony Harrison got that fight because to them judges and myself, he won that fight.
He did.
I expect him to get knocked out.
I
didn't think he was gonna win that fight. Listen, man. I would have betted money that Tony Harrison got knocked out.
Man,
so when he won that fight, when they got to the 12th round, and I watched how he kept on coasting that jab, I was like, man, you know what? He won that fight. I was by myself, like, you know what? He won that fight. So when they gave it to him, I was like, man, because I thought they were going to rob him. But I thought he won it. A lot of people disagree with me, but man, he won that fight to me. So the second fight showed me that Tony Harrison was comfortable winning that first fight. So the second fight, it didn't matter. And that's not what we're about. Detroit not we're not the same, man. We cared about legacy back in the day. Our first father of boxing was Joe Louis, but our first son is Tommy Hearns. And we're gonna follow that blueprint. We weren't happy with just defending our titles and losing them or winning them and losing them. That is what we were doing. Can't nobody say that about you because you were older and you were 2-time world champion. And you was never playing. That's one thing about you. You never played. Wasn't nothing silly about you. You got in the gym. You worked ass there and you fought. You always showed up. You wasn't trying to be thuggish. You always brought the Lord with you, and you came to fight. So your respect will always be high on my page, man, big time. But all these other guys, man, they ain't out here making me proud to watch the fights and shit. Cause I'm supposed to be proud to watch fights. If it's local guys, I don't even be interested in watching, man.
Wow.
But I just know they not fight for the right reasons and shit. Really.
Yeah.
I hate Willie got hurt because he was showing up. You were, nephew, you were showing up. John said that. Every time you fought, you showing up, boy.
That's right.
I said, Willie be showing up, man. That nigga don't play.
Yeah.
Proud of your ass, man.
A machine.
Everybody got the business side of it. Like, that's the whole thing. Like, but for me, it's behind the scenes, everything behind the scenes, like to actually be treated like an opponent or little stuff that you got to work out to. So like my issue was like fighters like me or guys that's been through it. So y'all supposed to educate. You got to tell these guys about these tricks that people pull because that's what it is. Don't nobody know the real stuff behind the scenes. Until later. And I done heard so many different stories that my whole thing was like, I don't play like that. So I started doing other stuff. But that's the only reason. It wasn't because, you know, I didn't believe in nothing or none of that. I just don't want to. I'm not playing games with no man.
Right, flat out, flat out, boy.
So that's
flat
like
out,
I said,
baby.
Great. I got a whole nother different mode.
Yeah. What do y'all feel about the local promoters having fighters do their job? The fighter got to fight. The fighter got to sell tickets, and then he's in there with a bum. I mean, you already know who's gonna win, and he's gonna win in like 10 seconds. And the crowd,
you know what?
That's my man.
Yeah, you know what? But sometimes it takes that. These fighters on that level. I'm gonna tell y'all the real shit, man. Do y'all know? I didn't give a fuck about who we fought. John, we didn't care, man. I'm telling you, as long as the money was right, man, John getting a Cadillac and we go. I kid you not, man. We didn't care. Like, we was real with that boxing shit, man. Cause like I say, my kids was riding $300 bike. So that's kind of daddy I was. You know, especially with me getting out the street, that's really my lifestyle now. I gotta really box. You know, that's some shit. Man, John getting a Cadillac. Drive me, him, and BK do what we gotta do, man. Go get that little money, take that ass right back home. You never miss it. Straight up hit.
I'll say this: speaking on the business side, because that's really where I spent more of my time than you know you three gentlemen did in the ring.
Yeah.
So you know, having worked for Emmanuel and having worked for Bill and you know guys like Gary Shaw and Main Events, different companies over the years, you know, I understand the business side. But one thing that I have to mention to touch on what K9 said, and I'm going to elaborate for a moment, if I may, is that we never asked fighters like, okay, you got to be able to sell X amount of dollars worth of tickets so you can be on this show. No, we are the promoter. We assume the financial liability and the financial risk. And if we lost money at the end of the night, which we did on many occasions at fight night, when we reconciled the books, we understood that was an investment we were making into that athlete's career. Many people don't know that Bill did not break even on Chris Bird with his investment until Chris upset Klitschko and then defended against Vasiliy Klitschko in the first fight. That's the break-even point. That's a heavyweight champion of the world. So, you know, promoters at times, I think, do get a bad rap. But if you're going to be a promoter, number one, know what the job description is. Promote. Look it up in the dictionary. Your job is to promote the fight and promote the fighters, sell the tickets. And when Kady fought, I had a problem dealing, honest to God, with so many guys from Joy Road, Mike, Nitty, all the boys, Jolly Wally, Car Wash, Kady, you know, I know, I remember the days, you know, Duck. All these guys would call and they would be demanding tickets, and I couldn't even keep up with the demand.
We didn't have no problem selling tickets. We loved it.
Yeah.
And I never asked Kady to sell them.
You not.
Yeah. Now, if you want to sell tickets,
point.
that's a different story.
I never asked Kady to sell the tickets. Story.
Yeah, that's a different story.
Yeah, if you want to help, that's fine.
Exactly.
But the promoter's responsibility is to sell tickets and promote the show and invest into his fighters. And I'll say this also as my last point to that. We had a matchmaker, Tom Vaca, who was extremely underrated and underappreciated, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And you have to have a quality matchmaker, and I'll use Rico Hoy was the last fighter that I worked with as an example. I think Rico was like maybe 8-9-0, and we matched him against Greg Wright, who had already won the NABF title and lost it at that point. But we knew Rico was ready, and we knew where Greg was in his career. So you have to have a good matchmaker that understands one fight. You're going to have a guy that teaches your fighter a good jab. The next time you're going to get a guy that's got a good right hand. The next guy's a boxer. The next guy's a slugger, flat-footed. You show your fighter different looks. K9, to your point, the fighter gets nothing out of beating these guys that they get from the county morgue that barely got a pulse on them. And the next thing you know, to 17, 18-0, and then you rise to the occasion, and then you're like, oh, shit, what do? I actually got to fight somebody that can fight back. So to also comment on Fortune's point, that's where having the right team is very, very important.
That's right. Look at Tyrone Brunson. Carlos built him up that he had the record right now to this day with the first round knockouts. He got more first round knockouts than anybody. He finally got in the ring with somebody with a 500 record and got stopped. So hold
on, Tyrone Brunson been whooping ass like that?
Man, yeah, because he got him in there. He put him in there with
when they built him up.
Fighters was 1-10, 0-8.
But what we learned a long time ago, like, man, there's a balance to all of that. Because
let me tell you something. Listen, you know boxing is good when you make your debut and you get knocked down.
Look, but Judy, look, I ain't call out the fighter's name, but somebody.
Look, when they say, listen, you know you are a warrior when they pronounce the shit like this. Out of the red corner, fight out of Detroit, Michigan. We're making his pro debut, Kady King, and in the blue corner, with a record of 5-0 with 5 knockouts. You mean what the fuck? That's that pedigree. Listen, that don't scare me. That didn't scare me. That record don't mean shit to me. I'm for the KRONK boxing, yo. Are you serious?
And look at we had like a recent champion like that was literally built up like that. Kady, you even said the same thing. Like, one thing about it though, depending on who the team is, if you build a dude and you build his confidence and he believe it, you got a hard fight on your hands. I don't care.
Yeah, you do. You still do. Sometimes leaving a guy in there with you too long. That's how you find out.
If I'm knocking everybody out, I'm coming in there.
You gotta get them out of there, man. Gotta get them out of there.
You know, it's every component. If you selling tickets, it is what it is. I understand that because your job is to pack the house too.
Right.
Okay, listen. But just if they had a ticket selling contest right now, which fighter could sell the most tickets? Who's the hottest fighter in Detroit right now?
Right now,
that wouldn't have a problem selling tickets.
Oh, the Mexicans or the Arabs. The Arabs.
Any fighter that's either right now. You got like I've seen my Albanian, Chaldean, and any of them, they whole nationality support them.
Man, that's right. It was a fighter.
Yeah, but what one fighter can sell tickets right now? What fighter? Who's the most popular fighter in Detroit right now?
Kady, listen.
Right now, you got some new up and coming guys that like I don't even know them like that, but I know that they pack in the house.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. The guy is only 2-0, and he sold out Dearborn Performing Arts. He was an Arab, and they had a flag up. They were going hard, and we had real fighters on there, like really pro fighters, main event, all that. Rydell Booker and all of them was fighting. They didn't do no sales or sell more tickets than that one Arab. He brought the whole city of Dearborn out.
Oh, you said we got to find out who that is, John. We got to look at see who that is.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, but that's the business of it. And even with that, though, like at the end of the day, it's nobody's responsibility to understand your business but you and your team. Yeah. So if I choose to fight with a promoter where I'm selling tickets, I chose that. Yeah. If I to a manager who's investing in me and paying for opponents or paying to get on card, then you got to work too. I don't care if I'm selling the tickets by myself or my team selling the tickets. Everybody
was that always your attitude, Willie?
That's always been my attitude.
Yeah, man, you are very mature. I've always said that. You are very, very mature. That's how you supposed to look at it, man. It's a team thing. You know, the promoter can't do it. Sometimes the promoter just be coming out too. Yeah. He's trying to get up there. Sometimes you can help him. Yeah, you know, believe me, any promoter I mess with locally, me and John was helping him by far. Trust me, man.
But
we didn't have no problem with tickets at all.
Yeah, but you get what you negotiate. If you're a fighter that's desperate and will do whatever a promoter tell you to do, if he tell you to sell tickets and you say I'll sell tickets, and that's on you. SB told me and Bill Waller told me, and it made sense. We all agreed that you get what you negotiate.
Right, I agree. Yeah, I agree.
So you know,
think about it. Most fighters,
that's just word of wisdom. You
know, fighters that don't know the business. That's right. Yeah, man, I'll fight anybody. But you will? Okay, sign this contract.
Look,
it's blank contract.
When I turned down my deal, it was a 6-fight deal, and my number one thing was like, okay, that's cool, but they wanted control and power of who they was gonna pick, and all this stuff. And I said, look, I don't care who I fight. I said, all I know is these 6 fights need to come with numbers.
Okay.
Fight 1, pay this. Fight 2, pay that, and we can get it on. Other than that, I'm not giving you control and power over me.
Right. And when they saw that you knew the business,
to credit to what Fortune said.
Like, that's it.
Yeah.
Like, now they just not doing it. Look at the zone. To me, for promotional, that's the best squad to go with.
Yes.
Because they said like
why we don't have any, why Detroit isn't hot right now with boxing? Like, what's going on?
I feel like
only thing we got is Tony Harrison.
Emmanuel Stewart not alive.
A lot of people not understanding that business side of it. So many people getting caught up in the hype or thinking that they made it on a local level.
I agree with that. So and I don't think it's just a manual. No, I don't think it's just manual. Let me tell you something. What we have in Detroit, Sugar Hill don't mess with it. Henry Hill don't want to mess with it. No procedure trainers are training other fighters around the city because they don't see nothing in them. It's not a matter of being gone.
The money is gone. The money is overseas.
But it ain't just
Sugar Hill is smart. See, let me tell you something. If you ain't fuck with Sugar Hill, you're the idiot.
All right.
See, you can't look at Sugar Hill like he gone off. If you ain't fuck with Hill, if Hill ain't fuck with you, you done lost out.
But John,
if you remember, we got some good trainers around. We got Wally, we got Peanut, Bam, Marlon. We got prestigious trainers, but
still here.
Do we have anybody that's gonna tell the fighters what they really need to hear? Come on, K9. We didn't get babysitted. We didn't get baby. What we talking? None of us was. We didn't get baby. We got the truth. I remember James Lester was telling me shit like this when I was trying to come back at 38. He like, and I was doing them sit-ups and I couldn't do them all. And he was like, okay, Kady, listen, you get up there and get your ass whooped. And I looked at him like, who you talking? He was just so wrong with me. Like, man, but he meant it. You know, if you gonna come back at 30 years old, you know you didn't like to train you was younger. We was down here with your ass. Now you older. If I'm gonna train you, you gotta. And you see Rashid tore my ass up. James Lester wasn't playing with me, man. He put his foot on my neck. And you see the outcome.
What I was saying, John,
so I couldn't blame nobody.
Hold on, this is what I was saying, John. If the original KRONK gym was still right there on McGraw, even if Emmanuel still wasn't here, people would come down there because it's historic.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
That's the point that couldn't nobody be arguing. If we had the real KRONK gym, we have world champions. We wouldn't have a choice.
K9, finish your question.
That being in the cup, just being in that gym alone, it brought out the best for you. That energy, man. Hell yeah, we have way more than one champion.
Yeah,
but it's Tony Harrison, the future of Detroit. Is he the only person gonna carry the torch? And what's his next move?
But he come, he from a different cloth though. He came under, y'all, the raw dog fighters.
I'm gonna tell you,
seen it.
I'm gonna tell you. Listen, if Clarissa Shields actually fought downtown at Little Caesars Arena, you could put Tony Harrison on there. You could put Eric
I didn't even think about that. Oh, John Lepak.
Yeah, John Lepak. Hey, look,
my brother, John a beast, man. Put that shit together, John.
We go, look, Willie Fortune.
Put that shit together, John.
Well, listen, if the money right, we can definitely do serious numbers.
Night, actually.
I didn't even think about that, but you're right. Clarissa, she'll sell.
Oh man,
she sell. Her Tony Harrison sell. Yeah,
a lot of talent. But but talent is one thing. You gotta have that. The missing components is still like either the business or the personality of the person. Like a lot of these dudes, like they feel like you owe them something.
Yeah.
It's a thug life now, man. Listen, everybody that made it before they made it.
Yeah.
It's a thug life now. Everybody tougher than what they really are.
But that go back to the same thing because we don't have real trainers, real mentors.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
Who do you have to follow? Like you said, I got to see you. You know what I'm saying? My uncle James Fortune, Kane. You know, we got to see these pedigree guys work their way up.
Yeah.
So just like I'm saying, like with my gym, like I got to see these things that made me more dedicated to the craft. You don't have more. It's a lot of guys that just had a way. They fight a couple fights, easy wins, think they made it, think they Hollywood, and that's it. So many people fighting for recognition. People ain't fighting. If this was the old times, and you had if they took negotiations out, and the winner won the bigger purse, you get better fights again.
There you go. That's true.
Yep, I agree with that. I agree with that. Yep, that's the smart shit, Willie.
That's true.
But
you could take Jake Paul and bring Jake Paul to Michigan, and he'll sell out more tickets than anybody in Michigan. Any boxer.
Sure will.
Man, listen, he would do it.
Yep, sure will.
Look, everybody looking at what Floyd did. I commend Floyd, but I'm looking into what Conor McGregor did. Conor McGregor made $100 million on a pro debut. He the baddest man in boxing to me.
We won that.
Say that shit. Y'all make a pro debut. I said that shit too.
That'll never be done again.
Never.
What we have to understand, our generation, gentlemen, is that our generation will never be repeated again. Okay, we came up in a very different time. There was no MMA. You had the stars aligned. The city was full of hungry fighters. We had great gyms, not just KRONK, but you go to Coleman Young, Lasky. You could go anywhere, and it was a hotbed of boxing. Then you had a great manager, Emmanuel Stewart, with a great team with Jackie Callan, Prentice Bird. Emmanuel had a supporting staff of Luther Burgess, Walter Smith, Pops Miller, Sammy Poe, Mr. Logan with us with the kids, Jerry Hauser. We had Kady, what was our man? And the 88
Alex
scout,
Shear, Earl Smith,
Alex Shear,
Eddie Carr. He had everybody.
Then you had the promoters, Eddie Carr. But then you had the promoters. You had guys doing club shows. I'm gonna point this out.
Billy Summers, Johnny Ace.
The club shows. Johnny Ace through club shows that had James Toney, Bones Adams, Stevie McCrory. That was a club show back in the day. Then you had Bill running, the big fights at the Palace. And so, guys, honestly, we're never going to see that again. So when I came back into this for the Stewart family and Jeff and accepted this position, one punch. You guys were, and Willie's uncle was a part of that team. You guys were all part of that team.
So
when I came back, I said, I don't want to talk about pros. I want to start with amateurs.
What can we do to better local boxing, though?
Man,
what needs to be done?
The basics. That's a whole another interview.
Understand the rules, like you said. You got to start with the amateurs again.
Because we do have fighters that can fight. I haven't been seeing them on media, but let me tell you who I've been thinking about a lot.
It's business.
Ronnie Austin.
Everybody can fight.
Me, I'm touching base on getting your everyday people invested into the sport.
There you go.
These are your future investors. People don't know. Like Tommy Hearns would have never been Tommy Hearns without the Illegis.
That's right.
Yeah.
You still gotta have that. We don't have that no more.
And Maserati Rick.
That's right.
We can't have Willie on here next time me and John on here. He's too smart. No. Yeah, we can't. No, I don't like nobody. Like, really, I gotta listen to like this motherfucker smart as hell. Why I didn't say that? Hey John, Willie's smart as hell, lady. We always say that, man.
I've always told you that.
Man. Hey, James like that.
Yeah.
His uncle, that was smart. That's how I met Billy Summers. He always put me in with good guys,
Kady,
man.
I don't know if you know that James Fortune and Willie Fortune, they my cousins. So when I found out James was my cousin, I stopped wanting to spar with him. I was like, oh man,
Yep, he sure is your family. Yep, he sure is.
Yeah. I stopped, man. I said, oh man, I stopped sparring him.
Hey, K9.
Kill each other.
Hey, you gonna like this, K9. Yeah. I never understood why people think K9 hits so damn hard. Man, K9 hit hard than a motherfucker. Hey, my first time boxing him, I was trying to kill his ass. That motherfucker hit me so many times. I said, I'm gonna kill this little motherfucker. I couldn't hit him with nothing but the jab. I couldn't land a right hand on him for shit. That motherfucker hit me so many motherfucker hooks, man. I said, I do not like that guy. Listen, I kid you not. K9 kicked my ass one time. I think I never boxed him again. I told Emmanuel I'm not fucking with him never again. Never, ever again. He's fast and he hit hard.
Oh, no. Man. I had to watch him.
No.
And I think that was it. Note about the business.
Yeah.
On a serious note about the business side, I've been working with Tommy and Tommy Jr. a lot recently, and Thomas is wrapping up filming his documentary, and rather than selling it to a Netflix or a Hulu or even a Showtime for that matter, Thomas Jr. is starting up a production and promotional company. And, I don't want to, give away too much of his business, but it's Virtual Fights Unlimited. I suggest you guys check it out if you're on Instagram. But Thomas Jr. is getting ready to do some big things, man, in cryptocurrency, EFTs, financial investing for fighters. And so we're working together to plan. That's another KRONK event we're planning in conjunction with Thomas Jr. and Tommy, like an amateur fight. And then have some seminars on like the NFL does. When you get drafted in the NFL, you go through a whole series of training before you hit the practice field.
Yeah.
You meet with financial investors. You get schooled basically on what's going on in the street. Now you got all this money, and you get a lot of mentoring and coaching before you get coached in the game.
Yep.
So you get taught the game before you get coached on the game. So that's what Thomas Jr. is setting up right now. So again, anybody out there, check it out. Virtual Fights Unlimited. Tommy Jr.
Junior look like he's smart like that.
Yeah, he is.
He's sharp as a razor.
Like that. Tommy look like that.
I know him every day.
August the 10th.
I know. Listen, I know every time I see that little motherfucker, he be sharp as hell.
Yeah. Trying to be like you, boy. You was the sharpest guy I ever saw in boxing.
Tommy be sharp as hell.
Tommy used to be sharp, though, boy. He used to go to the fights.
I'm always be like that, but see, it's good to see these other guys. He more fashionable than me, more expensive, more extravagant than me.
Oh yeah.
I had to put some blue jeans on, nice shoes, nice.
Remember when I was a kid, though, you gave me 1,000 outfits.
His shirt probably cost more than my whole outfit.
Yeah. Hey, Kady, remember you gave me 1,000 outfits when I was young?
Listen, Kady.
I wasn't nothing but a walking mall, man.
Yeah.
It ain't one outfit I ever wore that I wouldn't have sold.
Okay. Yeah.
Kady, you that's where you did your road work when we were with Frank Warren, was at the mall. You'd go to Somerset and just walk around the mall and shop all damn day.
Yeah.
Listen, even on fight days.
Yeah. Hey, and that's the reason why I turned pro, because Kady was getting money from Billy Summers was taking care of Kady, James Fortune, Marlon. I was an amateur. I wasn't getting no money. I said, man, forget going. I'm about to go pro.
He sure did. He took good care of us too. Jermaine wanted to go pro too.
Yeah.
Everybody want to go pro. Billy held us down like a mug.
Hey guys,
man.
What happened to Jermaine? I heard Jermaine passed away recently. What happened? Does anybody know?
Oh yeah.
Jermaine McKenzie.
Yeah, health issues, man.
What happened?
Health issues. Oh, he died. Health issues.
Yeah, God rest his soul.
Man, I had talked to him a couple months ago, man. Damn.
Yeah, that was my dog too. Man,
I was just up there with him, staying with him a lot. Yeah. Getting on his damn nerves, being an old ass big brother, fussing him all the time.
He doing a lot of good things though in boxing. I know he had some fighters overseas and everything.
He listen, man, that motherfucker is so devoted to helping people.
Yeah.
The man is so devoted to building fighters. I bullshit not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Building fight. He got a lot of this shit going on.
Yeah,
he love that boxing.
A couple of really
Let me tell you something. I'll shout out James Tony's mother. Nobody loves James Tony more than Jermaine.
Yeah.
Believe me when I say he loved that man to death.
He had his own promotion.
They went way back.
Lights
loves
Out.
some James Tony, man.
Yeah, he had his own promotion called Lights Out. Hey, so look,
He
everybody
loves
listen
James
in
Tony
and tune in because me and Willie Fortune, we got an event we planning too for when I brought the world title back to Detroit, August the 10th. So August the 10th is, it's the reunion of when I brought the title back. So we gonna do a nice big event at Jab's Gym.
We got a lot of stuff that we about to do. You know what I'm saying? I'll fill y'all in, on the sidelines, you know what I'm saying, directly, because I don't talk a lot. I like to just move.
Yeah. Smooth.
What you been doing?
Let's all stay in touch on the business side.
I got some more stuff.
To help each other.
Absolutely.
You been okay, Fortune?
Oh man, I'm good. Look.
Yeah, my baby. You still got the gym going on?
Yeah, I got the one in Birmingham, the one in Eastern Market.
Yep, get out, boy.
I'm looking in Atlanta and like Charlotte right now to do something else.
Yeah,
give me the keys to the BMW, cuz.
Yup, you just like James, man. Like you say, set up troopers, man.
Yeah.
Bosses.
Hey, so listen,
what you been doing, John? I missed you big time. What you been doing, baby?
Just working.
What you been doing, John?
Rebuilding everything at KRONK. Like I said, right now it's just mostly business deals and sponsorships.
Yeah.
Like we got this deal with Roots of Fight.
Hey,
we got a real big one.
John ain't gonna tell you this because he's real modest, right?
Yeah.
But he can really do a lot for boxing locally. Still.
Yeah, but
we'll get there. We'll get there.
He could bring all the local kings out there that ran shit around here, and they'll help him.
Oh yeah.
Bill,
we've got
everybody fuck with John.
Got the calls in place, and we've got the commitments already from. And I can say this on air. It's not an issue with the WBA, the WBC. A lot of other big brands and people in the business have lent their support already to what we're planning on doing. And the next part is when we actually start to put these events together. Is I want to work with all you guys, Fortune, K9, Coco, wherever, Jimmy Paul. I've had Hilmer down to the gym. So, I want to work with all of us because we're all from the same era and we all understand, what it takes to make it. So like Fortune was saying, he likes to move and get it done. I'm pretty much just doing the same thing. So, working together in the future, I just want to say for anyone else out there listening, our door is open. We're not all KRONK, no, it ain't like that. We want to help anyone we can. We would love to work with anyone that would love to work with us. And it's just one day at a time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So why don't y'all give them y'all social media and the gyms y'all at, and and let's call it a day. Until next time.
Don't K9 got a gym too, don't he?
Yeah, well, I got a gym with cuz we were.
Go ahead,
I was in West Bloomfield.
Yeah, you got a gym, K9.
Yeah, but now we at Jabs now. I done teamed up with cuz at Jabs Gym. We in Birmingham.
That's good. That ain't bad. So that's 2 celebrities.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's real good. Shit.
That's double trouble.
Shit, that's 2 celebrities. Hell yeah, that's banging.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people take pictures up in that bad boy, don't they?
Yeah.
Look,
oh yeah.
I know they take pictures of y'all mothers all day, man. How many times
you gotta pull back up
and real world champions in the damn jump?
Kady, you done moved to Atlanta though. You done left us.
Man, he come back into
I'm down here in Atlanta. I ain't doing it. Ain't no boxing down here. These guys, they train, but I don't care how much they train, they box the same. I was around when Evan Holyfield first started boxing.
Okay.
I was around when he was about 15 years old. That's the gym I was training at way back then when I first got down here. I was seeing him every day.
Sugar Bird.
I knew who he was, but I just never said that to him.
You better get with Tarek Fikes because Fikes got some kids that can fight.
Yeah.
Oh man, listen, I be going to his gym. I know where we're doing. He be having Dominique Dalton down here sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care what. Listen. I don't care what kid you got that can fight. If they're there with Dominique Dalton, they're not learning nothing but how to take an ass whooping. I promise you.
Well, I'll close it. I'll close it out with this, K9. You asked about our info. So our website is kronk.com, and our social media is Real KRONK Gym at Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And our clothing is only, I want to make this clear about our clothing. We've got some issues with a major bootlegger. Well, I shouldn't say that, but we'll just say we got an issue with someone that's using the name and representing Detroit. And they're in the UK. They ain't never even stepped foot in Detroit. So you can get our gear at KRONK.com.
We do
Roots of Fight.
international hits around this motherfucker.
Kady, you do know these things are recorded these days, so I'm gonna hang up on you real quick.
He doing
we have.
So he in the UK with KRONK gear. Oh my goodness.
He got everything.
God bless him.
That's how they do.
Hey, all right,
God bless him. Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it, man.
Love.
I'm on IG at Fortune #5 HUN. You can get me at JabsGym_Beham or JabsGym, either or. I mean, like I said, we got a lot of things coming up, and we'll touch base again. But I don't want to be on here just ranting because people won't watch it.
Yeah, that's right. Kady, what
I get talking retarded. You know my crazy ass.
Where you at,
I'm
Kady?
glad to see y'all boys. I miss y'all Detroit guys, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to send me your address, Kady, so I can send you some.
I know, most definitely. I got your nephew big time. I'm gonna call James and get on his nerves. See the fuck my little brother doing.
Hey,
I miss you, Lepak.
Social media, Kady.
Hey, thanks for bringing us together like this, 2K. Now we needed this.
Yeah. It's all love. You got any Facebook or something they can follow you on, Kady? If they kind of trying to catch up with you, learn some of the history of boxing.
Yeah. All I do is listen. This is all I do. Watch fights all day on YouTube.
On Facebook,
everything. You know who my favorite heavyweight my greatest heavyweight of all time is now is Larry Holmes.
Ooh.
All right. Hey, I got
my reasons. He's worthy of it, fellas.
We talk about that Spence and Crawford. You know what I'm saying? Coming up.
Ooh.
Yeah, Larry Holmes is worthy of it.
Spence.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it next one.
Hey, John, listen. What is Deontay Wilder doing?
Nothing since he fired Mark.
Uh-oh.
All right.
Okay,
I'm out, fellas. We'll talk soon. Kady, I'm going to send you the info on the summer fight.
Yeah. Hey,
yeah.
Hey, so we going to see y'all next time, though. Appreciate y'all for tapping in.
Get up here. See you
next Monday, right?
Thanks, fellas.
Next Monday. Yeah,
I'll be ready.
Boxing. One love. Let's go, champ.
All right,
thank y'all for tapping in.
Let's
go, champ.
Yeah, brother.
Let's go. Good work, y'all.